All right, it is just a few days before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there, from my family to yours. It's been a crazy few days to start this week. I'm up roughly $10,000 on the week, so I've had some good trading profits, but I've missed so many plays, and I want to go over those misses. And I know that a lot of you guys have missed a lot of plays, and it's okay. It's okay to miss plays. First, I do want to talk about KBIO. We've got a lot to talk about today, so just buckle in. KBIO, this is a supernova, and you never know how far a supernova is going to go. A lot of people think, oh, Tim, your DVDs are supposed to predict this stuff to a T. Some people who haven't watched my DVDs like to think that I predict the exact tops, but those of you who have seen my DVDs, especially Penny Stocking Part 2, you know that I don't try and predict the top. It's more about trying to understand where the top might be. And I know that might sound like a politician, like a little word game, but this is how I predict stocks, and this is how I trade stocks, and this is how I trade safe. Here is KBIO. It just had its first red day today, down roughly 50%. Before I even talk about this, let me talk about this. We have our Thanksgiving sale right now on these DVDs that I talk about, and I want you guys to watch them. Tim Grittani's new trading tickers. 16 hours, over 3 dozen live trades. He's my top student. No one else has a better track record than him, and I don't think anybody else has a better DVD than this. It is already ranked #1 on Investimonials. How to Make Millions is my charity DVD. All the money goes to charity, and it is 35 hours long. It is the most comprehensive DVD on everything you need to know about trading. Not just penny stocks, but everything I've ever learned about the stock market. And then Spikeability is my newest DVD. I've delivered roughly 3 hours or 2.5 hours so far. Anybody who gets it can watch the first 2.5 hours. I'm working on the second half. It was supposed to be another 3 hours. Now it looks like the second half is going to be closer to 7.5 hours. That's right, it's a 10-hour DVD because I am going over all of these stock spikes that have been happening over the past few months, and I'm a perfectionist. So I need to keep, showing more and more patterns and examples and lessons so that it's the most useful DVD. And all of these DVDs are 50% off. How to Make Millions is 70% off for a limited time. And then we also have these great DVDs like Timline, which talks about different times of the day, like when to trade, how to trade differently at 10 a.m. Eastern or noon Eastern or 2 p.m. Eastern. Penny Stocking and Penny Stocking Part 2 are my most basic. School Trader is Connor. He's a high school teenager who's now made nearly $500,000 while trading from high school and on his mobile phone. So this is a special Thanksgiving sale. It only lasts a few days. And we also have these newsletters that are on sale. Some are 30% off, some are 49% off, 47, 54%. We have an FX newsletter, which people are loving, and that's 75% off. All annual newsletters because, it's all about learning for the long term. You're not going to learn everything you need to know within a week or even a month. But if you stick around a few months and definitely a year or two, you're going to learn quite a bit from all of these self-made millionaires. Super Alerts and Super Pro, amazing hard work there. He just had his first millionaire student. And then Tim Alerts and Penny Stocking Silver. And I should mention that aside from just these sales, my two newsletters, Tim Alerts and Penny Stocking Silver, will actually go up in price in 2016 just because I've had so much success as a teacher and I'm kind of overwhelmed by students. A lot of people have the wrong idea. They think that it's just about hot picks, and I need to weed those people out. And those people usually are people who are just like, come on, Tim, I'll pay you $50. Give me a hot pick. Let me pay my rent next month. And I'm like, whoa, no, you should not be trading. So I want you to treat this like an education. And that's what this is all about. It's not just about hot picks. It's not just about watch lists. It's about understanding the patterns and really trying to adapt to price action. So not only are you going to save on this sale, you're also going to save on the 2016 prices, which are going to go up. I haven't decided exactly how much. Everyone who already has a subscription, you're already locked in, so don't worry about that. But this is your final chance to get in on these annual sales before even the annual prices go up next year. So just throwing that out there. But KBIO is why I love trading. I actually lost a few $1,000s shorting this in here in the twos, but cutting my losses quickly, as I always try and preach, and in this case, practice. I know there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, you should never short sell." Anybody who's shorting this is crazy. You're just bound for disaster. And both my first millionaire student and I were both shorting this at two, and we both came out fine. There's a lot of lies, a lot of ignorance, a lot of misinformation out there right now. And if you cut your losses quickly, it's very difficult to blow up. When you ignore the rule of cutting losses quickly, it's very easy to blow up, especially on a stock like this. If you're shorting it at 2 or 4 or 6 or 10 or even 15 before it goes to 40, you have to be able to cut losses. And I'm sorry that it's frustrating. I'm sorry that it's not easier. You have to be able to cut losses on longs too. There's just more risk when you're shorting such a low price stock, and you can lose a lot of money very quickly when the news comes out. But it's not a coincidence that both my first millionaire student and I, cut our losses quickly. A lot of people think, oh, if I had been in that situation, would I freeze or would I act? And if you are trained and disciplined and study these video lessons and DVDs, you know how to act. It wasn't even a question for me. It's become second nature. And that's why teaching has helped me become a much better and really more conservative trader. So I have to thank you guys for being my students, because if I had a hedge fund, if I was trading on my own account, I probably would have blown up, because I am not as disciplined as I should be. And teaching actually helps because I don't want to look like a schmuck in front of all my students. So it forces me to follow the rules that I do teach. So it's good to follow rules, but I know how tough it is not to. A lot of you guys are asking me about my New York Post article today. So the New York Post article, this was actually last night they interviewed me. It says that it went up at 12:30 p.m. Eastern today. They actually didn't have it online for some reason this morning. They released it, but the article didn't work, so they got it up working midday. It was in print in the New York Post, which gets delivered to everybody at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So pre-market, you could have read this if you subscribe to the New York Post. And they're talking about KBIO, and basically they interviewed me, and they said, I'm a short sales expert who warned that this 1 week increase is from a stock in the gutter just days ago, and that's the truth. I don't think that this run up is based on the quality of the company or the future promise of its products. It's a short squeeze, and I compared it to CYNK, which was another short squeeze a few months ago. And basically, this is kind of a funny quote. I said, I'm not saying it's going to crash Tuesday by noon, but I do expect to drop up to 50% by early next week. And as it turns out, the thing tanked 51% today. So a lot of people are like, how did you know? How did you know? You don't know the exact top. I really did not know that today was going to be the top. I was actually kind of hoping that it could get to the 50s or 60s before eventually sputtering out. But it did sputter out today, and this is a classic first down day, and I'll be looking to reshort this. Its sympathy play AEZS, which I know a lot of students banked on, also dropped roughly 50% off its 2-day highs. So congrats to shorts there. I totally whiffed. E-Trade had shares to short. E-Trade is the broker that I use, and I think that it's the best broker. I know E-Trade only works with US people. Trust me, I wish that they didn't. For interactive brokers, I would use that for international people. Those are my top two brokers for 2016. Every other broker has let me down in the past, whether it's minimums or customer service or software or fees or executions. All the other brokers that I've ever tried suck. So don't ask me, oh, I know you're using E-Trade and Interactive Brokers, but what about this broker? All other brokers, in my experience, and trust me, I've tried them all, suck. What about Robinhood? Well, Robinhood doesn't allow short selling, okay? I know you want your free commissions because you think saving $5 in commissions is going to make you rich. It's bullshit. It's just a marketing gimmick. You can't short sell. There's no after hours. It's terrible. Why are you using, just a terrible broker to save a little bit of money? You can't necessarily just focus on commissions. You need to focus on, having the best tool, that the best weapon that you bring to the battlefield. And the stock market is a battlefield every single day. So I choose E-Trade and Interactive Brokers. Those are the brokers I use. All other brokers, I'm not even going to get into the negativity, but they suck. You know they suck. A lot of you have experienced how much they suck. And E-Trade and Interactive Brokers aren't necessarily perfect brokers, but they suck less. So that's my take on that. The New York Post article, it's funny that, I was so right in a day. Did not mean to. Just trying to guesstimate where the top would be. And I'm glad that several people, either boxed their shares short or even found some shares to short today, which is cool. But here's my apology. And, I'm here in Mexico at this beautiful hotel. And I'm like, what do you want from me? I'm sorry. I thought that it would crash up to 50% next week. Sometimes I'm more right than I realize. And it's not totally random. A lot of people say, oh, Tim, that's totally random. A lot of other people say, oh, that was so predictable. If it's so predictable, why aren't you a millionaire? Riddle me that. A lot of you guys are saying, oh, it's so easy. Anybody could have known. Why aren't you a millionaire? Why aren't you a multimillionaire if this was so easy? This chart pattern has been going on for 2 decades. You don't believe me? Take a look at my book. Page 61, ISCO, my first $100,000 day. And it too went from the single digits to over $40, and it had the same kind of big red day, and then it based here in the 15-20 range for a few days and then collapsed. And I think this is exactly what's going to happen with KBIO. I don't know if it's going to drop all the way to 5 because it's a much smaller company, but I do believe that it will drop to the teens, which it already has. So I don't really want to chase it, but just so you know, this was back in year 2000 that this chart happened. So I'm not saying that I know the exact top. I'm not saying that I know how to predict it. I am saying that these kinds of situations happen again and again and again. Maybe not every day, maybe not every week, but every few months and certainly every few years. So it's up to you to be prepared. Charlie, I just got to give him props again. He made $100,000 plus yesterday, and now he's like tweeting like awesome stuff. He's become a really wise soul. He tweets stuff like, "Don't be afraid of your losses. Wear them like battle scars and be proud of the road you've taken. I've lost a lot but gained so much knowledge," and that's freaking awesome. He's dead on, and that's how you should think. Here is Mr. Pavia. I got to give him props. Made 200 today on GBSN. And he thanked me for making penny stocking part 2. And he's learning not to force a trade, and that is fantastic. Here's LX21. He has made over $10 million, and he said that he had the biggest loss ever last week shorting KBIO too early, and then he had his best day ever today shorting AEZS and KBIO. So, he's bouncing around, but I'm glad to hear that he's okay. Here's Vexla. This is awesome. Shorted AEZS, just 100 shares in the 14s and covered at 9. This is one of his first trades, so fantastic. And don't feel bad if you take a small position size. Again, I see more than any other trader in the world the positive and the negative comments. And there's a lot of naysayers of people who say, oh, I only trade with 50 shares or paper trading or 100 shares. We all start very little, the vast majority of us, okay? So to you trust fund babies out there, screw you. You're mostly drug addicts and useless to society anyways. People who start with small amounts, you understand the grind. And it's a beautiful journey upwards. And I'm proud of Vexla for the first short, making $5 a share. I can't remember the last time that I made $5 a share. And finally, Joseph Weisenthal, he writes for Bloomberg, and he said, if Icon versus Ackman is a title fight, Tim Sykes versus Martin Shkreli is the bantamweight undercard. And Martin Shkreli is the guy who basically bought up KBIO, roughly 3/4 of the float. And, people are pitching it, oh, me who says that this is a short and Martin who's buying it. I'm not against Martin. This is just his company now. I'm more of a chart guy, so I want to make that very clear. I don't have anything against Martin, even though he banned me from his live stream today, which was kind of funny. He has a live stream. He's very questionable character, and I stand by that. And if you ever look at anything Martin does or says, you'll agree that he's a questionable character. But I hope that he pumps KBI up as high as possible so that it makes for a better short when it probably, crashes. So that's my take on that. I know a lot of you guys are asking me. I also want to give props. Crazy, crazy day. I'm trying to answer questions in the chat room. I'm trying to finish my Wolf Millionaire Guide to Instagram. The Thanksgiving sale, a lot of you guys are taking advantage of these prices, but just a few things in the chat room. K Moritz, ROSG in at 166, out at 180 for a small solid gain. I'll take that. Awesome. Good work. Here is Ryan making more and more sense. Shorted OPXA at 470, out at 425 for a quick $600 profit. Thanks, Tim. Well, thank you. Here is Fadster in VLTC, 412 out at 451 when I sold too early, but it's okay. You still made, 10%. Rec 74 in VLTC at 410 out at 482 made 20%, and roughly $2,000. Wyndham shorted AZS and made $1.30 a share, and he thanks me for my DVDs, and I appreciate that. And then Flockstock made 400 on PBMD, but it took me way too long, did a lot wrong, but learned from it. And that's the key. Whether you're making money or losing money, ideally you're cutting losses quickly so the losses aren't that great, but you're learning. And that's what I'm all about. A lot of people don't seem to get it. I know it's tough to be like, Tim, why are you trading and teaching? Why don't you just pick one or the other? Well, I trade in order to teach. And when I trade next year with just a $12,000 account, that'll become more evident, where I'm shunning trading with a big account in order specifically to focus on teaching you guys how to grow a small account. And it gives me such pleasure and such fulfillment to see you guys growing your accounts, and more importantly, learning step by step, right and wrong. Sometimes you do well, sometimes you don't, but stay in the game and don't become a gunslinger. I see way too many traders who have this gunslinger mentality, and they look down on how I trade stocks so carefully and meticulously and cowardly. And that is the wrong way to think about it, because a lot of those gunslingers, guess what? They're broke, or they've lost, half or a third of all their money on stocks like KBIO, and they got very lucky that they did not lose everything. And I know some traders who did lose everything, and I feel bad for them. But if you're going to be a gunslinger, it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. And if you trade cowardly, you take that risk of disaster out of the equation. And that is why I am so adamant in teaching you to trade cowardly. Do you think I care if Rec 74 sold at 482 on VLTC, and VLTC after hours is now in the 960s? The thing has doubled since Rec sold. The thing has doubled since Fadster sold, and it's okay. Fadster made 10%. Rex made 20%. Rex made $2,000. A lot of you guys have to think about it. Every single profit, whether it's 100 or 500 or 2,000 or 5,000, is a gift. Okay? You're not working a 9-to-5 job. You don't have a boss. You don't have to go to graduate school for this. You are speculating from anywhere in the world. And you can choose anywhere in the world. And once you have enough money, the places where you're trading from are going to be a lot nicer. Like I'm trading from Mexico right now, and I'm making $10,000 here in Mexico with a beautiful view, drinking pina coladas and eating tacos and carne asada all day. So just appreciate that. I know that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, how did I sell so soon? I didn't even trade VLTC. I said, don't chase it in the fives, okay? That was my chat room commentary. I was like, congrats, but I don't think it's going to go. Actually, it was like at 450 when I mentioned it in the chat room. And I was like, that's good. It's up, but just don't get greedy. The cool thing about VLTC, and the reason why I'm talking about it, is because this is the next runner, okay? This is up on absolutely nothing, but you have a billionaire investor in it. You have the right time of year, and you have these stocks that are running just crazy right now. So go with it. Just be very careful and be meticulous with your entry. If you're going to buy it, have a very specific entry point, specific goal. Look, I'm looking to buy this and I want to sell it and make 50 cents a share, and I'm going to risk it. If it starts going the other way, I'm going to risk losing 15 cents a share. So your risk reward is 3-to-1, 50 cents versus 15 cents. It's okay to chase a stock if you go in with an understanding of risk. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, it's so bad of you to buy KBIO anywhere above $10 a share. You're evil if you buy. No, you're not, okay? A lot of people who bought at 10, 15, and 20 before it went to 40 understood that it could be a big short squeeze, and they were on the right side of the equation. So don't knock anybody for trading, okay? Knock people for trading without a plan. If you're just going to buy VLTC and you're just going to be like, oh, I think it's the next KBIO. You don't have a plan, okay? So VLTC, I think it's gone up a lot. I thought it went up too much right here, but I'm not going to short it and I'm not going to chase it. Now that it's in the 9s after hours, I hope it goes to 20 because it is going to make for a great short sell in the coming days. And that's how I'm going to look to trade it. And you'll see that when I send out my watch list later tonight. But just do me a favor, go in with a plan every single time and stick to that plan. Don't you dare get into a trade and just say, oh, I'm just going to hold and see what happens. Hope is not a strategy. Holding is not a strategy. The strategy is find a good stock with solid risk reward. Stick to your equation. Stick to the catalyst. VLTC doesn't even have a catalyst. It's just the right time of year. And, it's run in the past before. That's the catalyst. So understand that it can keep going. Understand that any of these stocks can keep going up or down. Logic does not always apply in real time with these stocks. Sometimes it takes a few days or even a few weeks for it to get priced, kind of rationally. So don't come in with any bias and say, oh, a stock can't do this. A stock can do whatever it wants. And sadly, a lot of you guys didn't realize that on KBIO. You think that I'm just talking to myself. A lot of you guys don't want to pay for DVDs. You're like, oh, I'm just going to learn. I'm just going to watch these video lessons. Trust me, watch as many DVDs as possible. These freaking DVDs are going to save your life. You don't realize it yet because you don't want to invest the time or the money into studying. But trust me when I say that the market will teach you if you do not educate yourself. And the market, my friends, does not have 50% off sales. The market's education is going to cost you thousands or tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars until you recognize these patterns. Tim Grattani, Connor, myself, we have worked our asses off on these DVDs, trying to show what we've learned from our trading, and we're trying to pass those rules and patterns down to you to help save you, to help make you money, to help you understand the stock market a little better. That's what the newsletters are all about too. I don't think you guys realize it, but these newsletters, these are not easy to do, okay? Connor, Triforce, Superman, myself, every single day we're pumping out watch lists, commentary, trade alerts, video lessons. Yes, this is what we love to do. Yes, this is our chosen profession, but it's a lot of work to share what's in our minds and, share it with you every single day to try and keep you guys prepared and alert to opportunities and sticking by the right rules to trade. So take advantage of our hard work. I get so many messages in the day. It's unbelievable, the whole spectrum of opinions that I see of teachers. And there's this whole little world of people that rip on teachers. What have you done for the world? Huh? These traders, they think that it's all about adrenaline and gunslinging and profits and alerts. That is not the future of trading. That is the past. And stock traders and all kinds of traders and financial speculators have been put in this little tiny bubble, this little tiny corner of society because of the money that we make and because of how sketchy and shady most traders are. Why don't you show all of your trades publicly, let alone showing them in real time, let alone also showing video lessons and commentary that goes along with your positions? Because it's hard work. And most traders don't want to do that hard work. The reason why they got into trading is to avoid hard work. So do me a favor, when you're in the chat room tomorrow, even if you don't take advantage of any of these Thanksgiving sales, thank Connor, thank Matt, aka Triforce, and thank Superman, and thank me for our hard work. I don't need any thanks. I have a big enough ego. But these other guys, they don't get nearly as much attention as I do. And they deserve it because they have all had superior track records and they all work their asses off with their own strategies every single day trying to pass it down to you to help you make money for a very small investment. So that is where my head is at right now. I'm so sick of these naysayers looking down on teachers. We are the future of the stock market. Traders and educators. That is what's going to propel trading into anything more than this little piece of crap corner that we're currently in because of so many generations of just selfish and lazy traders in the past. They're dinosaurs. Transparency is the future. Education is the future. While I'm at this, I want to give props to everybody who is writing user content here on Profitly. God bless you guys. You're sharing your experiences every few minutes, every few hours now with watch lists, and you're talking about lessons from trades. These are the gurus over here doing watch lists and videos and stuff like that. Now you guys have the power. The power is yours. Whether you're a beginner trader, intermediate, advanced trader, share your experiences. Be open, be honest about it. We're not just trying to make money here. We're trying to help each other. That is what is beautiful about the Profitly community as opposed to all other communities. We work our asses off for each other because together we can do amazing things. If you try and conquer the market alone, it will take you far longer than it will take you if we learn from each other and we're honest with each other and we're helpful with each other. You think I care about making $10,000 in 2 days? I made $10,000 in 2 days hundreds of times in my life. But not enough of you are making $10,000 in 2 days because you're not studying enough and you're not sharing enough. If you want to change your life, if you want to change your financial situation, you got to work for it. The stock market is not just about passive income bullshit, putting your money in Google and holding it for 10 years. Okay, that one example would have worked. I can name 900 other stocks where you put your money in and you don't come out with much. Screw passive income. Screw any kind of income where you're not learning. That's the best part about the stock market. This is not just about money. Okay, I know that we show our track records on Profitly and we talk all about, becoming a millionaire. The most amazing part of becoming a millionaire is having self-sufficiency and knowledge and understanding that you can do this on your own and that you are above the bullshit 9-to-5 rat race. And you don't have to have a boss that you hate, and you don't need mortgage debt, and you don't need home loan debt, and you can take care of your loved ones, and you can give to friends, and you can give to charity, and you can buy whatever fucking car you want. You can buy a house for your parents like I just did. You can go on vacation like I often do. You can do whatever you want, but first you need to be self-sufficient. So I don't want any of you ever following my alerts or any alerts from anybody else. I want you learning from the alerts. I want you learning to structure your own trades. I want you learning from your successes and your mistakes. Every single trade, every single investment that you do is education. And education, you mark my words, is the future. So you take advantage of these educators and you thank them because they are changing lives. Thank you, Superman. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for your transparency and your hard work. I know you don't get enough thanks, and that's sad. But let me be the first one to tell you because I know how hard we all work. I'm not the only one who works this crazy amounts. Maybe I do a little more video lessons. Maybe I rant a little more. Maybe I get a little more press. But we all work hard and we want this community to thrive. That's why we have nearly 80,000 members on Profitly. No other trading community has as many members. And I love it. And I'm just getting started. I have a few millionaire traders already, but I want many, 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 many more. And I'm sorry that my computer microphone is probably busted after I'm yelling at my freaking laptop for so long. But you have to understand my passion. You got to understand what this game is all about. Anyways, USA. Happy Thanksgiving. And I don't know where that went, but just had to get it out of me. There's only so much negativity I can take before you burst. And I just see so much potential in each and every one of you guys who shares openly, whether you have a big account or a small account. The future is so freaking bright if you just focus on your education and focus on, really changing your life. A lot of you guys don't have great lives. A lot of you guys, I hear horror stories all the time. And the stock market and the internet and Profitly allow you to really take your life to the next level and get that financial freedom and get that self-sufficiency. So I am going to go work out right now and get out whatever excess rage I have. But just congratulations to so many of you guys. And the rest of you guys, I'll see you in the chat room. If you're not going to be in the chat room tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thank you.